Today on the channel, we're playing all the hits thanks to our friends over there at Target with the Target exclusive Piper's Pit box set.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another WWE Mattel Elite box set unboxing. And today we're headed to Target for the Target exclusive Piper's Pit box set with Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., Paul Orndorff, and of course, Rowdy Roddy Piper. But for all your Target exclusive needs, better hit Target. But for everything else under the sun, make sure you're hitting up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. And we're going to do this review like we do all the other ones here on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And very cool to start 2026 off with a talk show interview set here. It's because we did something very similar in 2025. Todd McFarlane with the Murray Franklin talk show set. Obviously, that's got a big piece of my heart, possibly the greatest talk show set of all time, but we haven't unboxed this one yet, and we're going to dive into this one here. Hitting Target stores right now, maybe depending where you're at. I did get mine via Target online shipped to my house, so that's how I ended up getting this here today. Now, we first saw this at San Diego Comic-Con 2025, beautiful this time of year, and very cool, very key, iconic interview segment show on WWE TV once upon a time. Now, to me, this brings forth, maybe we'll get some more of these. Can we get the barber shop? Can we get the funeral parlor? Can we get Jake the Snake Roberts' snake pit? There's a lot of options in some of these talk shows. Yes, the body shop. I'm here for the body shop, Todd McFarlane. You know I love Jesse Ventura. But I would love to see this continue on to do more things like this. And I think it's a great way to get maybe some deep cut legends into some of these packages. Let's say we're getting a Brother Love or something. You get a deeper cut character that maybe wouldn't sell so well on his own. But if you put him with Brother Love and the background and everything, maybe that would sell some extra units. You never know what might happen, but this is the start of something hopefully very special. The big problem is, where do we put all these interview segments? That's going to be the hard part in the future, but that's a problem for future Kyle to worry about. But let's dive into this one here. Piper's Pit at the top, WWE logo over here. Other side, you got the Piper crest over there. Elite box set, similar size style packaging to the Hall of Champions as we know. On the side over here, you got the gang. They're ready to go. On this side here, you got some of that plaid Rowdy Roddy Piper action. Same thing on the top here. Jibber Jabber UPC on the bottom. Then on the back, you get that big blurb. We get the graphics of the three. WrestleMania 1 is what I think of when I see these three together. In 1984, the WWE Universe was introduced to an interview segment that would become a mainstay throughout the golden era of WWE. Piper's Pit. From the first episode where Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff officially challenged Hulk Hogan for the WWE Championship, the bombastic host Rowdy Roddy Piper, flanked by his personal bodyguard, Cowboy Bob Orton, showed why Piper's Pit became the most popular interview segment in WWE history. How about that there? I don't know if it's my favorite. Now, Roddy Piper, one of my absolute all-time favorites, probably just right outside of my Mount Rushmore. But the Piper's Pit probably isn't my favorite. See you later, goodbye. I think I like and maybe it's just because of my age. I was very young in 1985, but when I was a little older, 9, 10 years old or whatever, Brother Love and all that kind of stuff maybe stole my heart a little bit more. Maybe not. It's all relative though, as we say. Got the nice background. We got kind of the background, I guess is what that is. Plastic piece background right here. Then in the plastic prison here, we got a little podium action. We got 2 chairs. We get some extra hands. We get the figures. A lot going on in here. So I'm going to take it offline, get this all out of the package, and we'll be back talking all things Piper's Pit. All right, time to get down to the Piper's Pit playset. But before we get to the playset, let's take a look at the 3 Elite figures. And we're going to start with the Enforcer, the old bodyguard of the stars, Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., of course, the father of Randy Orton, and the son of Cowboy Bob Orton, Senior, I guess. And we do get extra hands with him. We get 2 Fists of Fury if you need those. Makes sense for a bodyguard, of course. And then we get 2 different cowboy hats for Cowboy Bob Orton. Now we get the traditional black one. That's what most people think of. But a nice little Easter egg from the Mattel team. And I know around San Diego Comic-Con time frame, a lot of people were saying in the message boards and stuff, does this mean we're getting Adrian Adonis? This is, of course, Piper retired, as we know. He did come back. They all come back. John Cena's going to come back. I can feel it. But Piper retired, went to make movies, all that stuff. He ended up coming back down the line. But Bob Orton jumped over to Adrian Adonis once upon a time and would sport the pink cowboy hat here. So nice to get this here. I am not opposed to getting a second Bob Orton here. I have a feeling I can see this coming to eBay and people selling parts of this out just because they want other things. And Bob Orton might be the least desired of the bunch here. So I could see picking up this Bob Orton, another one, down the road on eBay. But I'd like to display one, probably with the shirt on, the black cowboy hat, one with the shirt off with the pink cowboy hat. Get your Bob Orton adventures out there is what you would do. So now diving into Bob Orton, I think we've seen this face scan a time or two. Looking good though, looks like Cowboy Bob Orton. Have to think the next Bob Orton figure we're going to get is maybe the Ultimate Edition line with the Coliseum collection. Not sure it'll set any worlds on fire, but it is needed in the collection, so we'll see what happens in the future there. But it looks like Bob Orton, very similar to the ones we've had over the years. Saturday night's main event shirt is very cool to this. Obviously, that was a big show at the time. Still a big show, if you ask me, especially when the body's involved. But this is one of those shirts that you could put on a fan in an audience if you have an arena set up or you want to put it on somebody else. This is one of those things that you can use it with Bob Orton. Obviously, it works, but it's a nice little extra that you could put to dress somebody else up if you want to. Velcro shirt in the back as usual. Can't have Bob Orton without his cast. Of course, he's had that cast for many a years, and he's got it here on his hand, or his forearm, more like it. A nice white cast there. Not removable. Oh, we've had it removable in the past. Yep, it is removable. So you can take this off, which is cool because, once again, you could use that with somebody else if you want to. You want to have somebody else in your Fig Fed break their arm? Hey, there's a cast for you there. So that does look nice to have that. Plain Jane blue jeans on the bottom side down low is what it is. This is a great customizer's figure as well. Pop a different head on here, make a custom head, whatever. You can have just a normal guy in street scene gear. Got the jeans on, the black boots. Good looking figure here. Now, no other issues with this. No big deal. It just kind of is what it is. I do like that we got the 2 hats with him, though. I think that is a fun little touch. Kudos to Mattel for giving us that. And Bob Orton doesn't set a lot of worlds on fire, obviously. Very plain Jane, not super toyetic, but cool enough for what it is. Hopefully we get a Coliseum collection in the future. But now we're diving over to Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. How about that? 2 gripping hands out of the package. So we do got some extra hands. And then we got 2 Fists of Fury for Mr. Wonderful here. Ready to lay that pile driver on somebody. And they said on the back, read copy, that's where he challenged, the Piper's Pit is where he challenged Hulk Hogan for the title. Poor Hulkster had a tough time in the 80s. I think until Hillbilly Jim came along, every friend turned on him. And the old Hillbilly Jim, he wasn't turning on anybody. He's just a good old country boy, as we know. But Mr. Wonderful definitely turned on him and then came back to being his friend. Always interesting how that works. But it looks like Mr. Wonderful, I think we've seen this head sculpt a time or two. Who knows? The Coliseum collection, I mentioned Bob Orton. Mr. Wonderful will be another great one for the Coliseum collection. Maybe that's the twosome. The hard part is, I don't know if it would set the world on fire. I guess we'll see what happens in the future. But I would be here for it. Give me Orton and give me Paul Orndorff together. I'd probably rather have Adrian Adonis and Bob Orton, but I don't think that's in the cards anytime soon. But it looks like Mr. Wonderful in the face. Now, we do get a WrestleMania shirt going on. Very similar to what we saw with Bob Orton. You can use this on Orndorff. You can use it with somebody else. Very cool to see that. Black, of course, Velcro up and down the back. And then we get Mr. Wonderful Orndorff right here with the white wrist tape, the white knee pads, the white and red boots going on. Pretty plain for most part. That was Mr. Wonderful. That was the style back in the day, as we know. Does say Mr. Wonderful on the back of the trunks, as usual with him. And we got him in white once upon a time in the basic sets, which I have in my collection somewhere. So it's nice to get an elite of that one from many, many moons ago. No articulation, the same for all three. I'm going to walk through it with Mr. Wonderful. Head back, forth, side to side, removable. A little bit of bobbleheadness on this Mr. Wonderful. We've seen that a lot with the Elites over the last years, and a lot of the Ultimates as well. Arms all the way around for us, bicep cut. Very loose elbow here. I don't know if I've ever had a loose elbow on the double jointed elbows. Most people complain the joints are too tight, but this is way too loose on this arm here for me. Not sure what's up with that. Hands back and forth, side to side, removable as we know. Ab crunch, good movement. Waist, good movement. Big old splits. Oh, you got to fight for them, but they're there. Leg goes up for the big boot perfectly. Thigh cut. Double jointed pinless knees playing the hits. Boot cut, ankles up, down, back, forth, side to side. Playing all the usual hits here with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Of course, right-hand man to Roddy Piper for a moment in time. Should also fit on a Mattel ringside collectible stand using code Kyle to save 10%. There it is. Mr. Wonderful going to fit on that stand just perfectly here. And I do got Bob Orton. I should put him on a stand as well, just to make sure. We got to do that check. You guys know how it goes. Looking pretty good for Mr. Wonderful. And that's not the only Mr. Wonderful. We've got a lot of Mr. Wonderfuls. We got a lot of Bob Ortons, but we got him in the blue in the Legends Wave. We got him in red in the Legends Wave once upon a time. So we've had a few different Ortons over the years, or Mr. Wonderfuls over the years. And we've had a lot of Ortons as well. So we do got some options when these come around. We also got options with Rowdy Roddy Piper, who is the crown jewel of this set. Heck, it is his Piper's Pit. But I'm still waiting for some more Roddy Pipers. We got a Monday Night War one that looks absolutely amazing. But this is a pretty cool version of Piper. For a lot of people, this is probably the most iconic version of Roddy Piper. Now, he does come with the What You Gonna Do, Brother hands as extra, so we get those. We also get the classic WWE microphone. Always nice to have one of those for Roddy Piper. And obviously, if he's hosting an interview segment, he better have a microphone, so we do get that there. But now we dive into Roddy Piper here, and we got the Coliseum Collection head sculpt here. I'm going to have to go through my bag of extras and mix that up because I don't like to display the same heads on my Pipers or anybody really if I don't have to. So I'm going to have to dig out a different Coliseum Collection head for my Coliseum Collection figure, which we'll bring out here in a second. But it is screaming, yelling Piper. Shorter hair. I always like the rough, kind of longer hair Piper. That was my era of Piper, as Piper basically retired right when I started watching wrestling at WrestleMania 3. That was pretty much where his first half of his career ended, whatever you want to call it. But I came into my heyday of Piper as him as an announcer with the long hair, Intercontinental title, Bret Hart, Mountie, whole time there. That was a magical time in little Kyle's life, no doubt about it. But good screaming face on Piper. Got the Hot Rod shirt. When I think of the Hot Rod shirt, that's the iconic one. You got the rings on the arms and the ring around the neck. We do have that. We've seen it other ways, of course, like the Coliseum Collection, but this is the iconic look to me. Same thing as far as the kilt. This is more iconic kilt for me than the Coliseum Collection personally. Like what you like, don't what you don't. We know the rules by now. White wrist tape on this one here. Blue trunks underneath this classic Piper. We've seen it numerous times. Blue knee pads here. You got the socks peeking out on the maroon boots. Maroon boots looking good. RP on the side. Looking nice for Roddy Piper. Exact same articulation as all three of these ones. It is an elite figure after all, so we know what the articulation's up to. Soft goods on the kilt. We also get the rubber belt around here. And we saw that same belt with the Coliseum Collection, if you did pick that up along the way. Fits on a ringside collectible Mattel stand using code Kyle to save 10%. And I do got that Coliseum Collection right here. Very similar but different, as you know. Same head between these two here. You got the wrist tapes the same. A lot of similarities here. You got the new foot articulation on this Elite where you got the old one on the Ultimate. Obviously, you got the different colored shirts. You got the different color kilts on here. So there is enough differences to be dangerous, but very reminiscent of the prior edition from the Coliseum Collection. But now we're diving into the Piper's Pit. We're in the interview segment here, the interview set. A lot of cool stuff with this. This, like I said at the top of this one, really opens the door for the future with this line. Could we see more of these? Could we see the barbershop, the funeral parlor, the snake pit, the body shop, etc., etc.? I'd be here for it. Personally, probably the barbershop's what I want to see because I think there's a lot more you could do with the barbershop. You get that barber chair in there. You get a Brutus Beefcake with one of those crazy outfits he wore of that time frame. And then you got to have a breakaway mirror for Shawn Michaels. And it would be the perfect opportunity to get a Shawn Michaels in that black leather coat and the jeans. I think that would be an amazing set. I hope that's on their radar in the future. We'll see what happens there. But we're going to dive into the Piper's Pit set, and I guess we'll start with these chairs. And if you guys, if you're like me, I remember these chairs from my grandma's kitchen when I was a kid. Every grandma in the 80s had chairs like this in their kitchen. Looking crazy, looking extra comfortable. You know, when you see those buttons and those cushions, you know you're in for a comfy sit down. But we get two chairs right here ready to go for the guests, of course. Looking nice though, and they are breakaway, so if you want to go crazy with them, they will break away for you. We also get a little podium right here, a little WWE logo, just a nice plastic piece on the top. The cool thing is, all the extra hands, hats, accessories, you could store inside here and then put this on the top. That's kind of nice to be able to store everything in here if you want to. That being said, I can see some people gluing this down because it's a little wobbly. We'd like to have this kind of stuck a little bit better, but it's just going to fall off every single time. So be careful with that. I also can just imagine, I could probably see somebody in the comments saying, this set's too expensive for me. I don't think it's terribly expensive. I think it's around, is it around $78, $80, $75, something in that wheelhouse? Well, Elites are 25 plus change at this point, so there's 75 right there. This feels like a decent value, and that's how box sets should feel. You should feel like, since you're buying in bulk, you should get a little bit of a deal, and that's how this feels. Obviously, somebody's going to say, hey, I'm waiting for the clearance. I get that as well. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. We'll see what happens in the future there. But I can also see people in the comments saying, why would I buy this? I could just 3D print all this stuff. Well, 3D printers, not everybody has one. I don't have one. I don't even know how to begin to use one. I know they're getting easier. They're getting cheaper to produce. I think in one day in the future, I've said this before, it's probably after my collecting lifetime, I think one day you'll be able to go to the Mattel website and you'll be able to download stuff like this. You'll pay $3 for the file, put it into your 3D printer, and voila, you print it yourself. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of good 3D printer people out there in the collector community that could easily replicate this if they wanted to. You just got to choose your own adventure at the end of the day. Now you do get the back wall pieces here, and I'm not sure if these are reused from the back in the day. Let's see, 2025 it looks like on there. So these would be brand new. We used to get stuff like this in some of the Mattel backroom play sets and ring play sets and stuff. You get some of these wall pieces like this, but it looks like these must be new here. Now you just click these together. You can make it smaller if you want to. You can click the pieces out. You can choose your own adventure. You can also connect it all together into kind of, I don't know what shape that would be, but you can connect them all together if you want to do that. Maybe you want to display it with just one piece showing and put Piper in front of it. Maybe you don't have a lot of real estate. There is some options with that. But you do get two blank pieces. You get one with the Piper crest, and then you get two of them with the plaid and the Pipers pictured. Pretty nice to see all that there, but it is kind of, you just arch it a little bit, turn it a little bit, and there's your Piper's Pit play set. So you can go all in, you could dial it back a little. Just do it however you want to do it. So there is some modularity to this. You could buy multiple sets and make a big wall of Piper stuff if you really wanted to. So definitely options if needed here. I'm not sure if this has the McFarlane Murray Franklin set beat, though. That was a pretty special set. The Kyle Peterson Show come to life. Maybe a little different interview set right here, and definitely different in the budget department. This is a lot cheaper than that set was, but both fun sets in their own way. I like this. I hope this is the start of something new from the Mattel toy line. I think there's a lot of collectors that are looking for things. They want the funeral parlor, the snake pit, the body shop, etc., etc. I'm one of those people. I think this is a good start. I think this is where it started at all for a lot of people. And then I'd say it got improved by the time we went to the funeral parlor, the Piper's Pit, the body shop, and all that kind of stuff. But very, very fun to have here in the collection. Hitting target right now. A solid set if this is your generation, if you are a Piper fan and you are a playset fan. There's a lot to like with this. But I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. Is this a pickup for you? Is this something you need in your collection? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell, as we got videos every single day. And then some. We got even more content for you over on Patreon, YouTube channel memberships, your best way to support the channel. SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com, which is also the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, available wherever podcasts are found with video cast on YouTube. So for the Piper's Pit Target exclusive playset, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
I'm solid gold.